Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Um, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Shehzad Latif, Assistant Professor of Medicine. Today is our second lecture of CNS, which we discuss in this lecture in detail regarding presentation or symptom of the CNS diseases, which usually patient presented in emergency, and what are the common diseases, which we will discuss in third year, fourth year, and finally in final year before your final exam of final prof in medicine. So it's very important for all the student should be very careful regarding basics of the medicine, basics of the CNS. So every topic, every lecture is very important regarding your fourth year and final year, because if you know in detail basics of all the CNS diseases, even names, causes, and presenting complaint, it will be very helping for you people for further in fourth year and final year. You will save your time by consultation, and this third year lecture you will save your time in fourth year and final year. Otherwise we will see usually students are wasting their time on the basics in final year, even in final year, because they don't bother in third year or fourth year regarding basics of medicine, every topic, not in CNS, every topic. So it's very important for all the students, very careful all the basics of medicine in third year. So almost for our second last system is going on, so should be very careful regarding this lecture. Basic complaint which will see or you will observe in the emergency or you will observe in OPD. Following are the few complaint or following are the few presentation of the patient. Usually patient present with CNS disease or present with these type of the complaint. You must think about the CNS disease or any CNS insult. Most common complaint are headache, you will observe in emergency, even in OPD. Second will be altered state of consciousness or unconscious patient. Motor weakness mean any paralysis or paralysis of the body, any part of the body, or hemi-paralysis and single limb of the body, weakness in the lower limb or weakness in the upper limb, that is called motor weakness. Sensory symptom, again that may be all over the body, that may be some specific region. Seizures, very common, everybody know seizures. Vertigo, it's a common complaint, even everyone student observe in his life, this is the main complaint. But every vertigo is not any pathology of CNS. So other in just we will analyze the complaint of the CNS disease, we should be very careful about vertigo. Vertigo may be any presentation of CNS disease, so it will include in CNS disorder. Autonomic symptoms, cranial nerve symptoms, as you I think in physiology, in ENT and IAU study in detail all the cranial nerve. Here we will observe the pathology of CNS cranial nerves. And disorder of sleep, yes, it also included the neurological complaint, cognitive decline or dementia. Now there are some common diseases which we will study and we will observe in the patient, discuss, and it will be our differential diagnosis in fourth year and final year. That will be the stroke or cerebrovascular accident, unconsciousness and coma, that may be unknown, that should be investigated further. what is the cause of that coma, which type of the coma. CNS infection like meningitis, like encephalitis, like meningeal abscess or brain abscess, cranial nerve disease. There are so many diseases which are specific for the cranial nerve. That may be individual nerve, that may involve 2 or 3 nerves. Movement disorder like Parkinsonism, any brain malignancy, brain tumor, epilepsy or hydrocephalus. Neurodegenerative diseases, dementia, motor neuron disease, demyelination, peripheral neuropathies, muscular disorder or muscular disease like myasthenia, myopathies, spinal cord disease, paraplegia, spastic or flaccid. These are the most common diseases. There are so many other diseases which include in the CNS or neurological, or you will observe in neurology, but here we will discuss most common diseases which include in the curriculum of MBBS medicine, general medicine. So for investigation of all these diseases, all these complaints, we need some we need, after all the history and examination, there are some investigation which will help or counter check or confirm your diagnosis. So in this today lecture, we will, with all these complaints and diseases, will discuss all the laboratory tool or investigation which we are using in the hospitals for the diagnosis of neurological diseases. One by one we will discuss all the investigation which we are using. Every student should know these investigations because they have some specific value, significance for the diagnosis of diseases. Once you know the investigation, of course you will order that type of investigation. If you don't know the investigation, which type of the investigation need to final the diagnosis or to confirm your diagnosis, then it will be very difficult for you people to making a good accurate diagnosis. So lab investigation should be, when we will discuss lab investigation, that should be always in two type of that should be separated in two type. Number one is basic investigation, number two are specific investigation. Basic investigation includes like our baseline test, that includes CBC, ESR for infections, for meningitis, meningoencephalitis. So it will help you, will give you, show you raised neutrophil count, raised WBC count. So it's very important. CBC is always a basic test and very important test for every disease. So very careful regarding CBC. And second will be the fasting lipid profile for atherosclerosis, ECG for ischemic heart disease. It's very important for CNS disease. Always think about the cardiac insult, because any cardiac arrhythmias, any cardiac insult, that may be primary heart or something else, that may present with the stroke, with CNS disorder, maybe primary cause will be heart. So always think about the heart, ischemic heart disease. ECG will you give a very information, is a basic test, give you basic information regarding heart, any heart insult, any arrhythmia or any heart disease. Chest X-ray, of course in CNS disease, not very important for you people will think about that there is, it should be X-ray should be brain. No, not at all. Again it will be specific for cardiomegaly. If you will go for the X-ray chest, in X-ray chest you will see size of the heart. If there is increased size of the heart, that is called cardiomegaly. Yes, cardiomegaly, it means there is some cardiac issues that may develop arrhythmias, that may produce any clot, they may radiate up to carotid arteries to brain and may cause ischemic stroke. So chest x-ray gives you information you should know about the chest x-ray. Echocardiography. Echocardiography will give you detailed information of the heart functional status, heart anatomical status, heart condition, any clot or any embolus that will ejected from the heart, that will maybe embolism to from carotid to main brain, that may cause again ischemic stroke or ischemic CVA. So echocardiography is very important. Further lab investigation little bit specific for some specific diseases, that is ESR, CRP, ANA, acetylcholine receptor antibodies, specific for immunological diseases. So it will give you very information if patient having some neurological diseases which are linked with immunological disease. So ESR, CRP, ANA, acetylcholine receptor antibody will give you information. Some other specific diseases which are like venereal disease called, again there are some specific tests which may present with neurosyphilis or some neurological disorder, that is the Treponema pallidum specific test, TPHA, Treponema pallidum hemagglutination assay, VDRL venereal disease research laboratory test, RPR test, rapid plasma reagent test. There are some these are the specific tests. If you after history and examination think about, there are some like this type of the diseases, sexual venereal diseases, then you will think about these type of the tests. Keep in mind in this situation it's not important if you are thinking about the any neurological disorder, you learn all these type of the test, you will start enlisting 1 2 3 4 5 6 A to Z all the tests which you will listen from this lecture or you will read from your books. No, not at all these tests specific for many specific neurological disease, but it's not mandatory for any one disease record all the tests. So these some tests are specific for some diseases. It depends your clinical skill, it depends your history skill, it depends upon your examination skill. On the basis of history and examination you will make 2, 3 or 4 differential diagnosis. Then on the basis of that differential diagnosis you will specify for confirmation of your diagnosis some tests. So that specific test is required for that specific disease to confirm the diagnosis. So keep in mind it's not required write down all the lab investigation for any one disease. No, not at all. Basics, yes, basic tests you may write down for that any specific disease, but other specific tests must write down for specific disease. Let's move to some of other diseases that may be, if you feel stroke or CVA, cerebrovascular accident in young patient, keep in mind there are possibility of deficiency of protein C, there is deficiency of protein S, and antithrombin level deficiency are pathology. So very important. Keep in mind if you observe any young patient presented with hemipressure or hemiplegia or stroke, think about the level of protein C and protein S. If patient is adult, old age, there are so many risk factors. So in that specific cases, not mandatory to do this or advise this type of the test, although they are a little bit costly. But if your diagnosis is not confirmed, little bit difficult to make a diagnosis and patient is young, yes, you will advise protein C deficiency, protein S levels to diagnose the cause of that specific stroke. For if you feel any underlying vascular disease, yes, you have some specific test for the investigation of vessels. Number one is a Doppler ultrasound carotid or carotid studies. It will give you information from ultrasonic waves, give you condition of the intraluminal condition of the vessel, and extraluminal of course also give you information of the vessel. So it will give you condition of the intraluminal vessel, because if patient carotid vessels having severe atherosclerosis changes, then in that specific vessel, especially in artery, arterioma dislodge from that specific vessel and may move or embolize from that specific region to central arteries, that may cause ischemic severe. So Doppler ultrasound is very helpful. Second will be MRA, magnetic resonance angiography. Again give you detailed information of the vessel, any pathology in the vessel. CTA, computerized tomography angiography, again it will give you very information regarding the vessel. One by one we will discuss all these tests. Brain CT scan, computer tomography or CT scan brain. CT scan brain is a very important clue if patient presented with stroke or hemiplegia, aphasia or unconscious. Very urgent test which is easily available to rule out is there hemorrhage, is there ischemia, is the CT scan brain plane. It's a very rapid, easy, non-invasive, without any precautionary measure. You will go for the CT scan brain, and it is very easily just lie down the patient over the CT scan table, and easily by the using of this technology you will assess the condition of brain of that specific patient, that show any hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is very important, because if patient having hemorrhage, then your treatment will be different. If patient having ischemia, of course treatment will be different. So it's very important in that specific stroke or CVA patient, go for the CT scan brain just to rule out is there any hemorrhage or not. So CT scan is very important. This is sample of CT scan machine which is installed and which is available in our clinical facility or attached hospital, Farooq Hospital, Westwood branch, and Farooq Hospital, Allama Iqbal Town branch. Second investigation is the MRI. MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, is very little bit more informative than CT scan. Better resolution for white matter disease, multiple sclerosis plaque, and which are usually not visible on the CT scan. So for the MRI you can easily assess and detect all these pathology. Superior visualization of posterior fossa, spinal cord, no bone artifact. There is no ionization radiation. MR angiography can be performed without contrast. Yes, without contrast you may do a MRA, not MRI. MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. MRA, magnetic resonance angiography, can be performed without contrast. It will give you information intralumen of the vessel. so is very more informative than your CT scan. Viewing of image in axial, coronal and sagittal planes. This is the CT scan brain plane. In CT scan brain plane, you will get information regarding is there any hyperdense area or hypodense area. So you will advise a CT scan, and if you observe this type of the whitish picture in your CT scan brain plane, this is the hemisphere or cerebellum, and this is all. And in this white picture is the blood always give you white picture in the CT scan, and in the radiological language you will say it's a hyperdense area in the left hemisphere, that is little bit pushing the central part, and some little bit you will, if you see in little bit closely, you will observe as edematous parenchymal tissue. So there is hyperdense area with around cerebral edema, right? If you will observe in this picture over the right side on this slide, this is a little bit grayish or black region. This one, yes, this is the black or grayish area. It is more specific with for ischemia. If any thromboembolic event was happened due to cardiac arrhythmia or something else, dislodge of erythroma, then it will block the circus of Willis vessels, which vessel will block or stop the circulation of the parenchymal tissue. It will develop a grayish or this is little bit black area. Then you will say it's a hypodense area. You will say it is a hypodense area in the posterior temporal region of the left hemisphere. It is called ischemic stroke or ischemic CVA. So it is little bit interpretation of the CT scan film, so very informative. Some other investigation are if that is already ultrasound neck or color Doppler of the neck vessel give you any atheroma or any block in the vessel intralumen or blockage of the lumen, give you information that is the basically cause that may be the cause of that specific stroke. MRA, magnetic resonance imaging, it will give you, this is the beautiful picture of vessels, veins and arteries of the circle of Willis. So MRI give you information is if there is any bleed, if there is any, if you observe here, yes, there is cut off sign, it means there is blockage. For this blood circulation is compromised, shows there is clot or there is something here which block the vessel. So MRI give you information like this. One of the more important investigation is LP or lumbar puncture. Lumbar puncture give you very good information regarding meningitis, pyogenic meningitis, meningoencephalitis, viral encephalitis. By this method we will use a LP needle, a lumbar puncture needle, using third or fourth lumbar spine. By this track we will insert the by aseptic by inserting the needle, and it will take a specimen of CSF. And this picture, this is the position of taking CSF fluid, that is the other one, and needle position. And this, in this way you will insert a LP needle in the, this is spinal cord, this is spinal fluid, CSF fluid, and vertebrae This is the space where we will insert this LP needle and take specimen for CSF analysis. This is other picture, shows you the collection of this CSF for laboratory analysis. Proper way to take the sample. Other investigation are electroencephalography, EEG. It is important for epilepsy, CJ disease, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, brain death, electromyography and nerve conduction study. Again for nerve, peripheral nerve or nervous disorder of the limbs. They are indicated for peripheral nerve and anterior horseshoe and neuromuscular junction disorder. Nerve conduction study is highly sensitive for peripheral neuropathy, electromyography for NMJ disorder, neuromuscular junction disorder, myasthenia gravis, visual evoked potential for optic neuritis. These tests are very specific tests for some specific diseases. Your differential should be very specific, then you will advise these type of lab investigation. So this is our today lecture, include all the diseases, all the complaint and lab investigation which are required for making the accurate and near accurate diagnosis of the CNS disease. Hopefully you will understand, you will develop little bit interest to study the CNS disease. Inshallah, if we will see in a word, we'll detail discuss all the CNS system. If you have any queries, most welcome, you may ask over the WhatsApp group, and otherwise you may call me anytime in the working hours. Most welcome. If you have any question, most welcome. Just paste over the Facebook or over the WhatsApp group. I will answer as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz and take care.